when I was a very little kid. I was living in India till I was 4 years old, and Mum brought us home to England in 1956, and I know I picked up 3 books from my dad's book collection. He was quite a book guy, and I said, I'm going to have these, and I took them back to England with me, and I've still got them here. And decades later I realised, well, I wasn't that dumb, was I? It's not a little bad starting point. This turns out to be Arthur C. Clarke's very first book, 1950. He'd started writing short science fiction but hadn't been in books, but this is a scientific treatise, on interplanetary flight, what little was actually known at that point in time. But visually, 2 different editions of Treasure Island, bought at Thacker's in Bombay, 1937 edition of Treasure Island, illustrated by Edmund Dulac. Not necessarily the greatest of all fantasy illustrations of all time, but they caught my eye. Love that illustration. That's one edition of Treasure Island, but that was the other edition of Treasure Island that I picked up, illustrated by Mervyn Peake. And years later, of course, Mervyn Peake, I realise, is one of the greatest fantasy illustrators there ever was. Apart from writing Gormenghast, he illustrated a lot of books. What I realised I really enjoyed looking at was how the shapes of figures had suddenly come down on the page, and they're drawing stone and rock and fire and explosions with a couple of lines. It always fascinated me. I realise now that's the inker putting the ink line over what the penciler has already penciled.